What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on a recent podcast that I watched with it. It was Max Kellerman and Rich Paul. And Rich Paul was basically in that podcast. He was talking about making trades for the Lakers, right? Possibly bringing in, Jaren Jackson Jr. And like the possibilities of getting rid of some of the Lakers, somebody on the Lakers team. He didn't really. You could kind of tell he was talking about Austin Reeves, right? But he couldn't really say that. I don't think he wanted to go that far, but everybody knows that he's talking about possibly trading Austin Reeves, right? And I don't know like what Rich Paul and LeBron James think that they are going to accomplish by talking publicly about trades like this, right? It's good for content, because it gives content creators something to talk about, but it's not good for business. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not good for business, because number one, some people could consider that tampering, right? Because he's talking about a team with a player that he represents, and a player that he represents is on that team. So that right there is like unprofessional in itself. Then on top of that, you're talking about moving players off of that team, which would benefit the player that you're representing. And so again, that's not good either. And I don't know, like right now the NBA and everybody is allowing LeBron James and his agent to get away with this stuff. But in the long run, it's going to, whether the league penalize them or not, it's going to come back and bite them, because this type of conversation is the type of conversations like you would have like in a private business meeting. Like if you was somewhere at a golf club, or and you was talking to different NBA executives and stuff like that. Those are the kind of conversations that they might have. Or maybe if you're out having drinks with somebody else, like you have those type of conversations, because you want those type of conversations to remain. You want people to so-called keep it under the hat, right? But when you go public with these conversations, it puts players and agents on the defensive, because you are now affecting the players around the league. When you talk about trades publicly, you're talking about their clients. So that causes resentment, and then people are going to want to come after you. They're going to do things like, just imagine a player coming out of college. Rich Paul is competing. He want to represent that player. Or somebody coming to the pros, Rich Paul want to represent that player. Then you have other agents that are going to, approach that player, and they also want to represent him. This is something that they can hold against him when they use it as like a bargaining chip, or in negotiations. They're going to be like, well, you don't want somebody like this guy representing you. And then they're going to point to everything that Rich Paul say publicly. They're going to point to like the trades and stuff that that he was involved with. They're going to all this stuff is going to, even if the league don't do anything, this stuff is going to come back to really bite LeBron James and Rich Paul in the backside, right? Because everything is not meant for public consumption. And so these conversations that Rich Paul is having, once they out of the league, it's going to be open season on clutch management. Everybody else who represent players are going to go after them. And like I said, it caused resentment. You don't think that other players around the league don't see this kind of stuff going on, and their agents are talking to them? This is going to backfire. But with that being said, let me play exactly what Max Kellerman and Rich Paul spoke about regarding trades and the Lakers.
Now, the Lakers have options. If I was the Lakers, I would probably be targeting the Memphis Grizzlies as a trade partner for Jaren Jackson.
Yeah. That'd be a great fit.
I would
For whom?
Well, that's the thing, because you got to figure out the package. But some way, somehow, I would be trying to get Jaren Jackson, maybe get back Gigi Jackson, Jackson and Jackson Associates, because he's a young player that you can develop.
So at least he didn't say right out Austin Reeves. But even he still don't do himself any favors because anybody on that team that he don't represent don't feel good about that statement. Like bring in another player. Did that mean that somebody got to go? Everybody know that, right? So that's still not. That really still don't save him or do him any favors.
Got good size to shoot the ball. But I think if you're building around Luka going forward, which they are,
You need a guy like
you
that.
need that anchor. And Jaren doesn't want to be a part of the rebuild. They just put John Morant on the market, right? Saying that they're willing to trade him, etc.
It's a great point.
So I think that would be a trade partner. Now, the package just goes out is what you have to decide. Because if you're able to trade out expirings and give up the last first round pick you got, that could be one scenario, right? Or you could say, let me withhold that. This comes with
Austin Reeves.
this comes with a very unemotional attachment.
See, now Max Kellerman brought up Austin Reeves, right? Because Max Kellerman want him to commit to that Austin Reeves thing, but it's either going to have to be Austin Reeves because that's really, besides Luka, that's the only player that they have that the Grizzlies might be interested in, or not unless they get picks, draft picks. I don't know, what the Lakers have in the way of draft picks, but Austin Reeves, man, I would be upset, because now remember, he already made a statement earlier saying that Austin Reeves should come off the bench. And this is like Austin Reeves this year until he got hurt was having a really good year, and the year is not over with. But you talk when you talk, you just affecting his money, right? Because starter money is better than 6-man money or coming off the bench money. So you messing with this man's money, and so. Yeah, this not going to end well for Rich Paul, Clutch Management, and LeBron James. These kind of statements that they're making.
Because Austin is the love, which he should be.
But he's about to get.
He's an underdog. And here's the thing: if there's a world where you can do what's best for your team and do what's best for Austin.
Right. I don't like that statement either. Right. Don't classify like if I'm Austin Reeves, I'm like, don't classify me as an underdog, right? Austin Reeves is somebody who worked hard to prove that he is a really good NBA player. So, I wouldn't want especially somebody else's agent outside of a negotiation classifying me. It's almost like actors and actresses get like typecast, like they get in a certain role. So you don't want somebody speaking on your behalf classifying you because that's not good.
He deserves to get paid right now. I love him as a Laker, but if that is a situation where we're getting balanced, because if you put all the money into just the backcourt, and then you're kind of like your flexibility is restricted going forward to fill out the rest of the team.
Yeah, see, all right. So he said that he liked Austin as a Laker, but if so he's talking around it. Now, these conversations that he's having in public are not, in my opinion, they just not cool. But just imagine what he's saying in private behind Austin Reeves' back, behind Austin Reeves' representatives and stuff like that, right? I'm not really feeling comfortable with these conversations. If I'm anybody on the Lakers team, like I said, these are the kind of conversations that people have in private, because publicly people's feelings get involved because you're talking about their future. their money. You're talking about a situation where people work, you know, like Austin Reeves worked years to get to where he is. Not just Austin Reeves, but anybody on that Lakers team as a player, you work years, you work hard. I don't care if you're the 12th man or you Luka Doncic. You work so hard to get to a point where you're on a NBA roster. And now you have a guy who is speaking about trading people and bringing people in, and he's so nonchalant and cavalier about the situation. You know, like I said, that's very unprofessional. These kind of this is the kind of move that is going to come back once LeBron James retire. They just burning so many bridges. You can't make like business relationships. You can't have like good loyal relationships when you do stuff like this, especially publicly, right? People don't even want to be connected to you publicly. Number one, because they know they can't trust you just because of the way you speaking in public about other people's contracts and other people. You had these kind of conversations with somebody that you trust or somebody that you're trying to do business with. Yeah, man, these conversations are gonna come back to bite LeBron James. I don't know why, what their strategy is, what they're thinking about, but there is a reason you don't see other agents come out publicly with these conversations. Even the league, like, you know, when just watching like WNBA players and the WNBA, the league and the NBA negotiate, the league don't say much. They keep all their cards close to their vest. And they do that for a reason, because you don't want people to know what your next move is going to be or what your mindset is going to be. LeBron James management, Rich Paul just really talk too much. And he gives his, like, if you're negotiating, you kind of get an insight into how he think and how he operate, which is not good, again, for the client. That's why owners don't really speak publicly, because, you know, they keep their cards close to their vest. This guy just do too much talking, and it's going to backfire on him and LeBron James. I can almost guarantee that. So that's my that's my take on this situation with this guy just talking and giving all these, doing this interview, man. I think when LeBron James' career over with, probably that's what they probably going to just have, like a podcast, because you can't represent players when it's too public. It's not like you're a fight promoter, So yeah, man, that's my take. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'm going to check you all out in the next video. Peace.